I was hoping you might share your opinion on Disney, ticker DIS, although the price has plummeted in the aftermath of ER. Yeah, so I love buying broken stocks. So I pride myself on buying broken stocks, but not broken companies. And I don't think that Disney is broken by any means. And I hope the stock gets absolutely crushed, more so than it already has, so I can back up the truck and buy more. And so whenever you look at a company that gets murdered after earnings, you got to ask yourself, are people being too emotional about the sell-off? And quite often in business, as Dale Carnegie said, people are creatures of emotion instead of creatures of logic. And people panic when it comes to negative news in the markets. And that's great for us because it creates an opportunity. As Warren Buffett said, you got to be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. Because if you buy the same stock that everybody already loves, then there's not that many incremental investors to push it higher. And so you got to take a step back and ask yourself, in 5 years, will this company or sector be more relevant or less relevant than it is today? Well, I think in 5 years, Disney's going to be more relevant. You know, their online streaming service has taken a bit of a hit. Like Peloton's taken a hit because, people are going back to work and, not working from home as much post-COVID. And so I see an opportunity longer term. I love Disney. I love their franchises. I think that they bought LucasArts years ago, back in 2013 or so, for next to nothing at $4 billion. They got access to all the Indiana Jones movies, Star Wars franchise, etc. for next to nothing. I'm bullish on Disney longer term. And the problem with the stock market in general, again, is people put their emotions first. And it was Warren Buffett who said that the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. Think about that. And so the best time to buy stocks is always when people are freaking out. And there's something I talk a lot about in my my upcoming options course, which is coming out any day now, which is the VIX. And I'm going to show you the best indicator for when to buy stocks. Okay, and I promise you this always works. I put my reputation on the line as always on this. So you got to buy when people are freaking out, right? So I'm not a net buyer of stocks right now, obviously. I usually buy when everybody thinks the world is coming to an end. And so I want to show you here the Chicago Board of Exchange Volatility Index. And what this does, and again, this will tell you exactly when to buy stocks. What this does is this measures the amount of volatility or fear in the markets, okay? And whenever there's a lot of fear, volatility is high, and that's when you buy. And so what happened was back in 1990, the CBOE released this index. Okay, it's a volatility index, the VIX, and it measures what the market thinks volatility is going to be in the S&P 500 in the next 30 days. And so it was launched back in 1990, and every chart tells a story. This will be fun. And so we saw a big spike here initially. Let me get rid of this box. Right here, this is Gulf War One. I remember it was December of 1990, so the market freaked out a bit. Then we saw another spike here in 98 with the Asian financial crisis. And then after 9/11, obviously we saw a spike here. And then we saw a big spike here in 2008 when we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working. And this is the time to buy when it spikes a lot, okay? And then it spiked again, and you can't really see this, but it actually reached an intraday high of over 80 back in March of 2020. And this is when Elon Musk, he's very unemotional about business, that's why he's successful. This is when he backed up the truck as well and bought more shares of Tesla. And so when the VIX spikes to above 70 or 80, and it doesn't happen that often, but that's when you back up the truck and buy. And I promise you that when you do it, it's going to feel like death. Like it's going to feel like the world is ending. And that's when you buy, because things are never as bad as they seem in finance. And also things are never as good as they seem. People get too emotional about stocks. That's when you back up the truck. And speaking of options and volatility, I have a course I'm most proud of coming out soon. It's called the Complete Options course. I have a much longer version, though, that's going to be in my MBA program. And if you've already purchased my MBA program over the past couple of years, I'll send you an email to let you know where in the curriculum I've added that as well. And for those of you doing gold and platinum, meaning live this year, we're going to cover that in class number 86 coming up soon.